Welcome to The Edit by Engage Creative. I'm Sophie, one of the co-founders of EC.
Engage Creative. And I'm Amy, and Engage Creative is a marketing agency specifically for the wedding industry. And today we are talking all things AI. And it kind of is off the back of, we had a really great strategy day
with our team.
And a big part of that conversation was how we can incorporate AI into our business. So we'll kind of be talking about that and hopefully be giving business
some
owners
insight, some inspiration, it not being scary, or kind of using it as a tool that can really like help facilitate your brand, not being scared by it.
Yeah, and also looking at it as not a replacement to like doing the actual work, but it's helping you, whether it be a source of inspiration, a source of research. It can be utilized in so many ways, and even the ways that our girls were sharing with us in terms of from an image perspective, video perspective, it was almost blowing our minds to get our head around it and kind of have a discussion around it.
Totally. Yeah.
Is, I think, going to be really helpful, not only for us, but for everyone listening. So I'm excited to dive in to all things AI. I mean, probably we should start off with like how we are initially using
AI. Yeah. So, I mean, it's such a hot topic. A lot of our kind of clients are like, are you using AI for your captions? Or, you know, do you write via AI? I don't think it's it's not a replacement for a job, because I think that people are seriously craving that personal connection. But I think you're using it as a tool, or kind of like the starting grounds of like helping kind of finesse or like give a little bit more kind of oomph in your step when you're kind of, you know, helping talk about yourself even, or...
Well, I think it provides some efficiency.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it with how can we use it in an efficient manner in our business that's actually going to free up our girls' time to ideate, to spend time strategizing on how they can do better or implement more things in marketing, that AI is allowing them that space within how they work, because they're utilizing it in a way that is efficient, whether that be research or idea generation, copy. But I think it is important to remember we don't look at it as using it and copying, pasting whatever is it's spat out. It's not about copying, pasting and going, yep, cool, tick.
Because there's no strategy, I think, behind AI. It just kind of like...
There is strategy if you know how to use it, which is obviously something we can talk about.
Yes.
But I think the human element is still there in critically assessing the information or the work that it has produced and going, okay, cool, is the tone of voice there? Is it hitting this? Is it doing this?
I think as well, like the wedding industry is a creative industry. So it's never going to replace us as in terms of like what you do as a photographer and your like body of work, or, you know, as a florist. We are all creatives, but how can it help assist you and free your time, or kind of put together those different elements that maybe sometimes you're like so time poor, using it as a tool, not a replacement.
Well, I mean, for me, and coming from like kind of my role in our business, is a lot of people talk about like they just don't have time for the admin, or they don't have time for the operation. And if like realistically, if you want to grow your business, you need to put operational elements in your business, whether that be SOPs, templates, workflows, automations. And I mean, AI is a great tool for helping you set up or write, you know, those SOPs. So say if you're like a vendor and you're wanting to hire your first employee or assistant or anything like that, but everything that you do on an operational basis or how you communicate with a client is still all in your head, utilizing
I know you
AI.
Even showed me like personally for Engage Creative is like, what are we looking at over the next 6 months and what are our goals? And then it helps break it down to be like, okay, in the next 3 months, this is our goal. And then after that, this is our goal, and making it a little bit more tangible and like bite-sized rather than like it being this like overwhelming thing that's like, I don't even know where to start.
Yes. But on the flip side of that, I feel like AI is like in the center of, say, what you're doing, but you as a person,
Yeah.
a business owner, an employee or whatever, you're utilizing it either side of that. So at the front end, which I think is important to talk about, is you want to tell it, you want to give it information, but you also want to give it instruction. So you don't want to just give a very generic, help me with this or write this for me. Give it background on your business or who you are. Give it a tone of voice. Give it an understanding of what your business is and what the goal is that you're asking it to do, but also give it instruction in terms of, I want to talk with this authority and I want it to be, this long or this short or, give it very clear instructions so that it can, whatever it does is not generic. It's more customized to your business. And then at the end side, which we've kind of already talked about, is critically assess what it has done. Don't just take it as gospel or don't just take it with any kind of editing. Make sure that whatever it is. But it has been...
It's pretty crazy
so
to
helpful.
Yeah, it's also pretty crazy to think that the world, it's kind of just this open-ended kind of thing to explore. We're looking at one of our beautiful clients is launching a collection and it didn't replace us doing her campaign. We needed to do her campaign. We needed to photograph it. We needed to go to an incredible location. We needed to produce that work. She needed to design those gowns. So it hasn't replaced that, but it has given us a tool of being how can we launch this in a way that's really fun? So, it's thinking about, okay, can we implement that it writes your logo in the sand? Or can it do something that is just so extreme? I mean, a great example is mesh ski. They were looking at launching in the US. So they had a mesh ski plane fly through, the sky with
and drop down a wedding dress on the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, the world, it's just there's no limit. There's literally, if you kind of will think about it, there's really nothing that it can't do in terms of the exploration. It just needs those ideas. So I think using it as a great tool to kind of be okay.
Well, that's one idea in terms of content creation. So we have inspiration.
Yeah.
Mood boards.
Yeah.
I think as well from an image perspective is great, but also, we talk a lot about people, is it still relevant to do blog posts? Is it still relevant to do email newsletters? Well,
I think it's all of those touch points is so important, but how can AI assist you or how can it help support or give you maybe those starting points?
Yes, but more and more businesses are implementing it. So I've already seen some stuff with Canva, which is great.
Yeah.
And they're implementing it more. And then there's obviously the usuals like ChatGPT and Claude and then all of the image and video ones that are coming up. And I think as well, not to overwhelm anyone, because like I said, when we were having this discussion, it started to get overwhelming, but just start with one thing and see is there something in your business, whether it be operational that you've just had on your to-do list for ages, or an email welcome series, or you want to start that monthly newsletter, or you want to update your website, or maybe have an analysis of your website of what could improve the speed and the length of time that people are on, and utilize AI tools that way.
So what are some tips that we can implement or businesses can implement using AI?
Teaching it your brand voice.
Yeah.
Teaching it about your business.
Yeah. I think it helps give you inspiration when you're really stuck in the trenches of copywriting and how can you portray a certain tone of voice, like what you were saying. So I think that using AI as a tool and kind of inspiration to kind of get you started on copywriting is great.
Yes, because I feel like there are some great copywriters out there, and that is such a skill. And that's probably one of the industries, funnily enough, that were most scared or question mark in terms of, is their industry still going to be around with the rise of AI? So that's really interesting.
Well, we actually kind of spoke about this last week on our strategy. I actually don't think there's a replacement, because when you look at a brand like Go-To Skincare, you know that it's a person that's writing that, because they're funny, they've got that tone of voice, their packaging's cool. You can't replace that with AI, but maybe they have different ways that they can utilize AI, but at the end of the day, they've got such a particular brand and kind of tone of voice and kind of funny kind of quirkiness that it can't be kind of replacing a copywriter.
I would agree. And what I was saying though is, but so many people aren't great copywriters.
Yeah.
I have become relatively okay at copywriting, but that's because I've had over the years I've worked on that muscle, so to speak, of how to write and how to think. But a lot of people,
they don't have the time for it.
Good. They're not natural born copywriters, which is absolutely fine, or they don't have the time.
Yeah.
So to utilize it to give you a step, an inspiration, some momentum in terms of then going away and writing copy or creating a mood board or, you know, a business plan or your operational templates, you know, anything like that can help you get out of that initial starting point. Because I think a lot of the time for a lot of things in business, it's
too scary. It's like you don't have enough time.
You don't have enough time.
Yeah, of course.
And so to actually get
but also
momentum.
Like I think that people get fatigue of like, I've got this to do. But like marketing is literally one of the most important things in your business, but it gets to the last. It's like the last thing that you do.
Well, you either ride on the coattails of a busy inquiry season or you've got some momentum and you think, okay, well, this is cool. I'm getting inquiries in, I'm getting bookings, and I'm also doing all of the work.
Yeah.
But you don't then you relax on that.
Yeah.
You don't then think, okay, well, cool. But if these inquiries dry up or if something happens, how am I future-proofing? Yeah. What my inquiries are going to look. And I mean, look, we're probably talking from experience. A little bit because we've run those roller coasters and those momentums.
Where we've been so busy that we haven't been able to market engaged creative at all. And then you kind of run into this issue where you get through everything and you're like, oh, what's the next 6 months looking like?
Yeah. And so I think that is really important for people to be aware of and go, okay, I want to create that consistently in my business and I'm going to utilize that as a tool to kind of help me get in the momentum. And I think, I mean, look, it's only touching the surface and I can't wait to explore it more, but how to automate certain elements of your business to free up your time that you can spend on ideas or where you want your business to go, or potentially, you know, looking at working with other people in the industry or experts to help you level up your business is going to be super important. So, I mean, we're talking all about AI, so we should probably talk about some of the ways that we're using it in our business. And again, it's only kind of the tip of the iceberg. But I think it's really, like, from my perspective, from an operational, I'm looking at how it can improve our templates and SOPs and how I can potentially add in automation into our business that allows our girls to be more efficient, for yourself and I to be more efficient. Because again, we have a never-ending to-do list. And if I can like free up some of my operational admin time or how we communicate because it's automated, we're getting notifications, that kind of thing, it can only be, I think that's going to be a huge benefit for how we work. So that's something that I'm looking at, how to utilize AI. And I mean, a lot of, for us as a team, like we use monday.com as kind of our preferred platform, and that has an AI function. So looking at how to utilize that more.
Yeah, I think the girls use it as kind of like maybe hashtag research or what kind of like is going on in trends and what's happening, and kind of like summarizing things is really great.
But the interesting thing with that as well is, even if our team does that, and I think it's important to do that, they're going away and they're having discussions with each other. They're critically thinking about it. They're having discussions. It's like, okay, well, like I've seen this or I've heard this, or and going, what do we think about that? And it's actually prompting
bigger discussions.
I
think it also like helps, like, again, what you said, prompting, but it's prompting bigger discussions as well, like where you see your brand, where is the direction, kind of. It's helped us kind of be like, where do we see the brand, our own business going in the next 12 months, and kind of like what I said, breaking down those areas where it's like more like bite size, where we're looking for the next 3 months and so on.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to controversially put it out there because we've kind of been talking about it. It's like, we don't want it to replace our jobs. Because we love what we do. And we think we're really good at what we do. So the other thing is, yes, you could use it to do your strategy. You could use it to do an audit. But is it, A, are you going to use it in the right way, like we've talked about? Are you going to feed it enough information that what it spits back at you is helpful? And but also, you know, it can do some things, but it can't do everything. So
it also like goes back to like the form of like touch points with like personal connection. Like if you're working with an agency like ourselves, we have like 5-6 team members that all kind of collectively brainstorm ideas about a particular client. So it can't really replace like your actual creative brain.
I agree. Or even your strategic brain.
Yeah.
You know, the AI doesn't have 15 years of wedding industry experience like I have that I can contribute to like our business or someone else's business.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's an important tool that people should be utilizing.
Maybe we look at it as like polishing. It's a great polishing tool.
Inspo.
Yeah.
And polishing.
I think as well, like AI is repackaging something. It's not replacing you as the creative. I think is like excellent at looking at it. So it's never going to replace the creatives. It's just repurposing or kind of giving a different tweak.
Yeah, but I don't think business owners should be afraid of it. I don't think they should necessarily go all in on it.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that should be on their radar, and they should have a little play with how they can use it from an inspirational or also strategic or operational sense, because I don't think it's not going anywhere. It's only going to become a bigger beast.
Yeah.
And again,
it like blows my mind, like when our strategy kind of when we were talking about like influencers that are purely AI.
Don't even get me started on that. It scares me.
Freaks me.
Well, that's a topic for another day in terms of that
whole
deep
world.
dive into AI influencers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this was a really
insightful. Hopefully it kind of like
it gives you a little bit of permission, but also hopefully takes a little bit of the scary away from AI.
Yeah.
And business owners can look at it and start to use it in a way that really helps their business.